Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I wanted to talk to you today about high value claims. There's always a lot of noise about these types of claims out there. A lot of folks are talking about you need to focus on those and go after those. My response to that is obviously you need to go after that. But the first thing is let's dial it back a little bit. Sure, you probably already understand and get that a high value claim is something that's, I don't know, maybe you'll go as low as a 30% and call that a high value claim, right? A claim for one condition that rates a certain percentage that's a higher percentage than maybe your average, right? So maybe it's as low as 30, but for sure the 40, 50, 60, 70%, for example, for mental health, potentially 80% with the new GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, bad heartburn, right? With those new changes going into effect. Currently, you're looking at 60 for GERD. With the new changes going into effect, if you meet the new criteria, you could potentially get an 80, right? These are high value claims. Great. Here's the issue. One, you don't really always understand exactly what you have that would warrant a high value situation as far as your rating's concerned. Just because GERD pays out at, in the new rating schedule, 80% does not mean that you're going to get 80% for it. You could end up qualifying for a 10% based on your signs and symptoms and all that good stuff. So I want to dive into this a little bit more. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel immensely. The two asks are really, look, hit the thumbs up. If you let the video run, that tells YouTube, oh, look, it's worth listening to, and it shoots it out to more people. They don't just automatically send it to everybody. So unless you subscribe, right? So, but if we want to grow and we want this into the hands of more, that's what we got to do. So let's jump back into this. So when it comes to high value claims, yes, of course, you're going to go after them. However, do not, and I'll say it again, do not underestimate the power of having a few extra tens behind you, or a 20% here, those types of things, because sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, I have seen those extra, 3 or 4 conditions that are 10, 10, 20, 20 help to get you over the hump into the next realm, whether that be from 60 to 70 or 80 to 90 or 90 to 100%. These are really, really important. Everything that you have is important. It's kind of like that, what's the best claim to go after? Guess what? The best claim to go after is the claim that you can actually win. So whether it's high value claim or not, it doesn't really matter. Now, in my mind, you need to just file for everything that you could possibly file for and win. Now, when we talk about winning your VA claim, I talk about two things. Oftentimes people are just talking about getting service connected, right? What you need to do to get service connected. I like to throw in also get the appropriate rating, and that goes back to high value claims, right? How do you know if you're going to rate a high value claim? I will tell you, oftentimes the things that bother us a lot, for whatever reason, the rating schedule sucks. So you get a lower rating, even though in your mind you're thinking, but this thing really bothers me, it should be higher. A great example is really anything with range of motion, right? So for example, your back. Your back might really bother you, but unless you're really debilitated, right? Most people are getting a 10 or a 20% for, let's say some sort of a lumbar issue. Or hearing. Hearing loss is also a horrible rating schedule that does not, your hearing has to be gone so bad to where it actually affects your speech. So in order to get anything, even in the realm of substantial, don't know if you could hear him, stands out there somewhere howling in the wind. So what you have to do, and I always say this, and it's just a gentle reminder, I guess, to really figure out, do you have a high value claim or not to start with? And the other is the reminder of don't leave anything on the table. Look, if you have high value claims, great. Obviously, you're going to go after those, but don't forget the little guys as well. So, number one, You must go through your schedule of ratings for your conditions. I get it. It's cumbersome on the VA's website. It is what it is, and unless you've done it a few times, it can be a little bit challenging. Once you've done it a few times, it gets easier. It's broken into books. If you were to Google search VA rating schedule, it would take you right to the page on the VA's website where it has all of the different, what they call body systems, broken down. You click on one body system. Let's say you have migraine headaches. You click on neurological, and then it opens up another kind of subset of links you can click on. Once you click on the schedule of ratings link, then that will open up a Word document for that specific body system. What I like to do is use Control F on your keyboard. It pops up a little window. You could type in migraines and it'll take you right to migraine. I think there's only two spots in that whole document that mention migraines. So you can find the rating schedule fairly quickly. Now, if that's too much, and believe me, I get it if it is, you can just Google search VA rating schedule for your condition, whatever it is. Let's just say migraines, and Google search that. Up will pop, 15 different law offices that do veterans law stuff, and they will pick and pillage the rating schedule information and put it into their website to drive you to their website and read it, right? So I would venture to guess that it should be up to date on their website since they're practicing law in that field, I would assume. I wouldn't read it in some article somewhere because, rating schedules do change over time. And so if you happen to land on some article or something from 15 years ago, it might not be accurate. So I would venture to say either directly from the VA or from a law office would probably be the best. So then you can read through yourself and read all of the signs and symptoms and criteria required for each available rating for that condition. Now, do your homework, right? Write down your condition and write down the percentage that you think you rate. Now, you're going to want to keep that information somewhere because you're going to need it, right? So whatever the criteria is, you want to be able to keep that somewhere. Print it out, write it down, take a picture, copy, paste it, put it into a Word document. You want to save that information for that specific rating that you qualify for. Do that for all your conditions. Now you're going to know, all right, especially, let's just pretend that this is your first go, right? Your first claim you're ever filing, you're filing for 5 different conditions. You do that for your 5 different conditions, and you might be able to figure out loosely what the VA should be rating you for every condition. Now you have all the information that they're looking for, whether it's a high value claim, something that's worth a lot percentage-wise, or even those lower ones. But now you know where you're going to fall. My next suggestion would be, just for giggles, go into the VA's calculator for your service-connected disability. So you could put in, Google search VA disability calculator. There's a page there in which you could type in your different percentages. So you got your 5 different conditions, put in the 5 different percentages, 50% for this, 30 for that, 20 for that, and 3 10s. And figure out, run the calculator, and it will tell you what your overall rating will be. Now it's up to you to take the information from the rating schedule and go have those conversations with your doctor. You're going to hear things about DBQs in your journey through VA disability. DBQs are great. It's a way for a doctor, a private doctor, to put in all the information that the VA is looking for specific to your condition and primarily to assign an appropriate rating. A DBQ by itself is worthless, in my opinion. You must have the information from the schedule of ratings to know what type of wording you need to have in that DBQ. The goal here is to make the VA's job as easy as possible to assign you the appropriate rating. Now, once you've done that, you ran the calculator, you got all that stuff down, you know where you're at, you have your schedule of ratings information, you got your DBQs, you're going to your doctor, you're giving them all the information from the schedule of ratings, you're having them fill out DBQs if they can, or Nexus letters if you need to as well. Now you're going to get all of your stuff filed with the VA. Now, ideally, you filed an intent to file prior, right? I've preached that too. But now your claim is filed with the VA. Eventually, you're going to get that call for a C&P exam. Now, if you rate a high value claim, let's say GERD at 60% on today's current rating schedule, which will be changing, but today, currently, here we are in March of 2024, 60% is the max. So let's say you rate a 60% based on all of your signs and symptoms and everything that's there in the schedule of ratings. You rate that 60%. Well, guess what? If you don't share that information with your private doctor and the C&P examiner, you no longer have a high value claim. So in other words, if you meet all that criteria, but then you show up, you didn't do anything with your doctor, right? You just got your diagnosis for GERD. Now you show up to your C&P exam and they ask you questions, and all you basically say is, yeah, it's bad heartburn. You know, oh, okay, can you tell me any more? Yeah, it's just bad heartburn. It's just bad heartburn. Yeah, it sucks. You know, it really, it's horrible. I got bad heartburn. Okay, great. All you said was heartburn, and that is one symptom of GERD. Now, your potential of a high value claim just got blown out of the water because you did not bring with you the information needed for the VA to assign you that high value disability compensation rating, right? A 60%. Instead, you're getting like a 10%. So if you were to have, in that circumstance, say something to the effect of, yeah, I have difficulty swallowing, I have heartburn, I have pain in my sternum, pain in my shoulder, sometimes I vomit, I have regurgitation, the heartburn's pretty bad. Sometimes I think I see a little blood in my vomit, or maybe you got some blood in your stool. I really feel as though this is really a tremendous impairment to my health, because my esophagus is essentially eroding and could lead to esophageal cancer. So yeah, I'm worried about it. If your answer was more along those lines, or and another one that I think that they talk about is, maybe you've lost some weight. Yeah, over the last couple of years I've lost 30 pounds and I didn't really change anything, or whatever the case is, right? So those would kind of be the story around a 60% rating. So you see the difference is what you're saying. Being able to express your signs and symptoms will help you to obtain that high value claim. Just because you warrant a high value claim based on the information up here doesn't mean it's going to materialize. You need to document it and provide the evidence, and you need to be the expert witness when it comes time for your C&P exam. You can front load that with a DBQ that's appropriately filled out with information from the schedule of ratings and other information that you got put into your medical records. So that way, by the time you get to the C&P exam, you're just doubling down on the same information to ensure you get that high value claim. But again, I really want to highlight, just because you have some high value claims doesn't mean that's the only thing that you should be going after. Go for everything that you deserve. Get all of your ratings in line and get them rated, because collectively they will help you get to those higher percentage thresholds, like the 70, 80, 90, and 100%. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.